We are going to talk today about the castle of Chapultepec. This is a place in Mexico City. Hope I'll share, yes. This is a place in Mexico City. Mexico City is the capital of Mexico. Of state of Mexico. So Castillo de Chapultepec. That's how it looks like. Okay, so we can see with Google Map, Chapultepec is situated in the center of an extremely large city in an area that is still kept like a botanical garden. We have Castillo de Chapultepec. In the same complex area, Museo Nacional de Antropology, Bosque de Chapultepec. Few words regarding Chapultepec Castle of Mexico City. It's located on top of Chapultepec Hill. The name Chapultepec is the Nahuatl word, which means the hill of grasshopper. It is located at the entrance of to Chapultepec Park at a height of 2,325 meters or 7,628 feet above sea level. The seat of the hill was a sacred place for Aztec, and the buildings atop have served several purposes during its history, including as a military academy, imperial residence, presidential residence, observatory. Since February 1939 is the National Museum of History. Chapultepec Castle along with Iturbide Palace, also in Mexico City, are the only royal palace in North America which were inhabited by monarchs. It was built during Viceroyalty of New Spain as a summer house for the highest colonial administrator in Viceroy. It was given various uses from gun powder warehouse to military academy in 1841, was remodeled. Interesting thing, the castle fell into disuse after the fall of Second Mexican Empire in 1867. The castle was given a new life in 1882 when President Manuel González declared it as official residence of the president. Okay, so let's see. Few picture of the Chapultepec Castle. It's in top of a hill. And there are lakes around this area that is kept like a park. Now I'm going to share. Okay, let's see if what is my share? Okay. So this is my trip to Chapultepec Castle. We actually walked. This is the entrance. They don't allow you to have any food inside of the castle. This is the place where you buy tickets. And there is a pathway where you walk around 1 kilometer to get to the castle. We travel in 2022, I think. Very well preserved place with nice gardens. There is a long walk. It's very interesting. It seems like almost like an artificial mound. So heading to the place promised by their god Huitzilopochtli at the beginning of 14th century, the Mexicans settled in Chapultepec, where they lived for a few years. Banned by their neighbors, they went on an exodus until they found the signal of their god, which marked the promised land. This place will be called Mexico Tenochtitlan. For Mexica Common Vision, the eagle represents the sun that lay on top of the world, and roses, the pricky pear, which is ingrained in the original mountain that merges from the aquatic mirror and sink its root into the depth of the underworld. The symbol of the eagle and the snake has been used as a central element of the former myth of the national identity. Throughout the Viceroyal period, these images were used by the Novo-Hispanic people to highlight their land and compare it with the greatness of the peninsular Spain. The shield of Mexico City, therefore, became that one from the kingdom of the New Spain. The insurgents like Ignacio Allende de Morelos adopted it for themselves. Once the independence came to an end in 1821, and until nowadays, it has been the national shield. The sculpture exhibit here is a reproduction of the original decorated water pump at the Plaza Mayor of Mexico City since 17th century. At the beginning of 19th century, it was taken off, and nowadays it is exhibited in this museum. So this is the symbol of Mexico City, an eagle that eats a snake. It's a long road, so I think almost 1 kilometer. But you see the very nice arrangement of plants with leaves of different colors, red and green. So this is the Chapultepec Castle. It does have 2 entrances, and we almost missed the second one. We visited, I think, in half an hour, the first part, but around the corner, there is the second one that it's exceptionally interesting. The interiors. So we are already inside the museum. Look at how large these statues are. This is a marble in different colors. So it was a table. It was not even a table, it was a wall in different colors. Different colors of marble. So this is a piece of art underneath. And above, we have Mexican old paintings. In 1600, the art, the painting art was exquisite. In Mexico City, there are around 156, 160 museums. A lot of them are free, and the artists are Sibila Eritica, author unknown, 18th century. So this is the interior of the museum. Not a lot of people. So this is the symbol of Mexico City, an eagle eating a snake or a bug. So for me, it's interesting that they represent bird people. So people with a head of a bird. Nowadays, I find out that Anunnaki were of three categories. Some were people like us, some were bird people, some were fish people, and another one, I don't remember. But certainly there were humanoids with head of birds. And they have in Chapultepec Castle, this kind of humanoids painted. Now, this is a aerial view of the city, probably in 18th century. So we have fountains. How did they pump the water? They have few-story buildings. So buildings of few-story height. A lot of people. Red carriages. So for me, it was interesting painting. Now what am I doing here? And already there were Spanish rulers. Horses, so this is, somebody sketched this painting. Now, these are exposed at Chapultepec Castle. That is actually a history museum. So we see buildings on hills with multiple floors. This some sort of canals. And yeah, Orario que se redito, I don't understand. Casa y Vidando del Corva. So they have like index of the buildings. Each building has a letter, and they have a index who is in this in each building. Pueblo de Santa Fe, Diego Correra, 1800. Now this is Maria de Guadalupe, locada a la original. So there is a history of Maria de Guadalupe. What happened? The Mexicans were fighting the Spanish invaders, and it was a lot of blood shed. So a lot of people died, basically. And one supernatural apparition of Virgin Mary, Virgin de Guadalupe. Guadalupe, it's a place that in present time, it's on the territory of Mexico City. In 1648, the Virgin of Guadalupe appeared to one peasant, to one person, and asked him to reconciliate basically with the Spanish. So they stopped killing the indigenous people. She represented the goddess of the ancient old Mexican people, but for the conciliation, she became Virgin de Guadalupe, which is the Virgin Mary, and she convinced people to go to Catholic religion. So in 1737, Guadalupe becomes, Virgin de Guadalupe becomes the patron, the saint of Ciudad de Mexico, the city of Mexico. And it's considered of the New Spain. She is the symbol of Mexico City. So these are Catholics or Christian relics. The symbol, it's still the eagle, that it's apparently, it should be eating a snake. So the earth, and they have different sextant, I think, tools for finding the longitude and the latitude. This is a map of Mexico, Nueva España, Nueva España. Mexico was under the Spanish rule. Let's see if we can see the year. No. Mapa, so geographical map of 1755. So this is actually like a history museum. This was like a little piano, and it was clavicordio, a musical instrument of 18th century. The more so this is a representation of the Ark of Covenant. So they, after the apparition of the Virgin Mary, the population of Mexico passed to Christianity. And this is the people carrying the Ark of the Covenant. The art in 16th, 17th century was actually much better than it's now. And they had in this museum a lot of art pieces of belonging to the Mexican society, basically those that were in top of the Mexican society. So while going in the museum, I like to take picture, and the purpose of this video is to share them with you. Now, we observe this map shows an organized city with parallel and perpendicular streets, similar to New York. Each street has a number, and in each block they have like a map, who is there and who lives there and what is in each block. Mapa original. (1737). So in 1737, Mexico had a organized city planning. Now this is a piece of art where made out of marble, 3 spheres sculpted that it's one inside the other, and each one moves around, move inside the other. So this is a proof of highly civilized society. This is another map of Mexico City. Look at the details. So you have the paintings, but even the frame is outstanding, completely. It's a beauty. So another map of Mexico, Puebla, and each place has a number, and on the right we have a record of who is living in each place. So this map is from 1793. Ciudad de Mexico. The central plaza of Mexico City, it's still kept today as a park, and each of these intersection has fountains and water fountains, and it's still, so this part of the Mexico City is preserved. Vista de Poniente. So in the map, there was a map that show how the city looked like at that time. And these are castles, so with lakes, with gardens, and the churches are still on. They are kept today. A lot of these buildings are still preserved. They are made of stones, and we still have these buildings in Mexico City as today. here we can see so I took the pictures, details of the map. These are artificial canals. So in 1700, they have artificial canals. And look at the churches. All these churches are still on today, so few hundred years old. They have hundreds of churches in Mexico City. And if you take a bus, hopping hop off tour, you can actually pass through. Most of them are still maintained as churches. So we see canals, we see bridges, Santo Domingo, la the novelty of the city of Mexico. And Jesus Maria, I don't know, the people or the churches, it's possible. They had a lot of churches. And you can see in 1700, the city was looked very nice. So streets are parallel and fully built with canals and fountains and trees and gardens. And around the city, it was a lake. So at present times, the Mexico City is built on the land where it used to be a lake. This part of the city that is on the this picture is the top of the lake. So this how large was the map. So this map had 2 meters high and around 4 meters long. And it detailed the buildings and who lived in each building and how the city looked at that time. The art of sculpture, of paintings, quite impressive. University Cathedra. Now, this was extremely tall, so it looks to me like a drawer, or people were taller or different heights. Normally, Mexicans are small, are not very tall. So, Lady of Guadalupe, in the last day of our travel to Mexico City, we took a hop in, hop off, and one of the place that this hopping hop off took us was Lady of Guadalupe. We didn't realize it was our last few hours of traveling to Mexico City. And there is an entire religious pelerinage there. Thousands of people go every year at the Lady of Guadalupe, where Lady of Guadalupe appeared to that person. And they sell all kinds of religious objects, and all day there is a like a demonstration. This is the Mexican flag. La sorpresa. La Cathedral of the Mexico. This is a painting from 1850. The Cathedral of Mexico City, I think, has 1 kilometer. It's 1 kilometer long of 4.5 kilometers wide. This is an impressive building. It's something of an architecture and art, and completely impressive. It's still standing today. It's in continuous renovation. But if you have a chance once in your lifetime to go and visit, these buildings are still there. Some are transformed in boutiques, restaurants, but the plaza, it's still there. The building, it's still standing. It probably needs renovation. Binoculars. So this painting shows how people lived almost 200 years ago, 200, sometimes 300, depending on the age. These are how they light their places. Immaculata Conception de la Profesa. So this is how their lighting looked like. Extremely tall places to have the lightings on, and a lot of lights. So what I was always wondering, how can they light all these lights in the same time? And how long these lights were kept? Or what kind of lightings? How did they light these buildings? They are extremely high. Extremely high. So if they light, how did they keep all this lighting on for in 1855? So this is a piece of art, basically. And the symbol of Mexico City. So that's the eagle eating the serpent. Now, interesting enough, la comunidad mexicana residente en California y Nevada, Estados Unidos, entrego de presidente Juárez, muestra de su afecto y administración al centro de la medallón, la efigie de Juárez pisa de la corona imperio, the imperial coron. It's in ruby, brillantes, and esmeralda. So these are the what kind of materials and precious stone was that crown. This is a miniature of a sailboat, extremely well detailed. Look at everything there was a piece of art. So in this castle for 3 years, one of was living one of the Habsburg emperor. They say, oh, we went to look for a for a king. But basically the Mexicans decapitated both emperor and his wife. He was 33 years old when he was sent in Mexico City to become the emperor of Mexicans. And they never wanted an Austrian emperor, and he was decapitated. He lived at Chapultepec Castle for 3 years until a revolution started, and he and his wife were killed basically. Arbor de la Noche Triste. So this is a representation of the social movement that removed the Habsburgic, the Austrian emperor from Mexico. Who knew? I just found out when I went there. So these are the doors. This is the exterior terrace of Chapultepec Castle. So this was the interior court of the emperor, and everything is in gold. With fountains in top of the mountain. So when it was built, how they pumped the water? That's still a question for me. I don't understand. They collected the water from rain, but still they have fountains. And these were built as fountains. This is made out of gold. These are the controllers, some say. Some symbols were removed. So this is the golden carriage of the Emperor of Austria, Carrozza de Gala Maximiliano y Carlota. So they were there in September 1864, aniversario de la independencia, 6 Julio 1866. So from 64 to 66, the Emperor Maximiliano of Austria and his wife Carlota were using this carriage, and they were killed basically. and Mexican became independent. So we continue to go to through this museum, the National History Museum, that is in the building of Chapultepec Castle, and we see different types of jewelry, watches, art. That it's art, not what we have now. This is from Russia. I think this is the Russian stone. Different collection of clocks, different types of clocks. I feel it's fascinating to see how many types of clocks. These are jewelry boxes or tobacco. I think jewelry. And everything gets exposed for us to see. Sometimes you don't even know what you're looking for. So I think this vase is from Russia. Clocks. Nice jewelry. Probably from Austria. Extremely small piece of jewelry with paintings. The art was exquisite. The doors. Una gioia della Russia imperial. So in 1851, the Tsar Nikolai came to the Grand Exhibition Universal de London, simbolo dell'imperico britannico, the symbol of British Empire. And Presidente Porfirio Diaz went there and they exchange gifts that are exposed to Castillo, to Castle of Chapultepec. So these objects are over 170 years old. More clocks, different types of clocks, which was an art in itself. So we lost that art. We are just consuming Chinese cheap stuff. Look at this art. Look at the art at this clock. They want to represent something. Sometimes we don't even understand how these clocks function, because some clocks show the moon and the sun, the movement of the moon or of the sun. Some are just similar, so we can understand how they were used. but some are quite complicated. These are pocket watches, personal objects, the Donna Maria Romero. They are collected and from people. Look at the painting. Not only the painting, the frame is, wow, it's amazing. Yeah, the frame, I was very impressed by the frames, personal objects. So these were for facial powders, pulveras, alifie, so sigilios. So these are all personal objects that have a lot of art incorporated. As usual, we like to see earrings. Now we go again to see paintings. Uh-oh, this is a man with a kid. That's new. Usually it's a woman with a kid on her lap. So this is again Chapultepec Castle. This is carriage used by Benito Juarez in 1867. President Juarez. This is another carriage of Emperor Maximilian and Empress Charlotte. Cesaro Scala from Milano, Italy, made this royal coach around 1864. Maximilian and Charlotte traveled with it on their trip to Mexico, and it was used few times while they were in the country. This carriage is decorated with silver and bronze molding, carved children and angel, imperial crest and motto, equity and justice, that Maximilian used during his government. That's kind of creepy. The naked children. But the carriage looks nice overall. So this was the emperor. (1865). So the museum is well maintained, and there are a lot of visitors. Again, the symbol of Mexico. So halfway through 1866, only 2 years after arriving in Mexico, Maximilian's position reached an extremely difficult moment, determined by the world power relation. The Republican forces that consider Maximilian an usurper advanced towards the capital. The conservatives, annoyed with his liberal politics, maintained fragile alliance with Maximilian's government so that they could keep their status and privileges. Pressure from United States and Prussia on France forced Emperor Napoleon III to withdraw the French army from Mexican territory and to stop his financial support. Aware of the magnitude of the situation, Maximilian decided to face his destiny with honor. After a prolonged siege in Querétaro, he was defeated, judged, and executed at the Cerro de las Campanas, Hill of the Bells, on June 19, 1867. So these were Maximilian and this is the exterior, the exterior of the castle, with a very large terrace. And we visited the rooms of the emperor. You can see them. Actually, from the door, you cannot enter inside, where they live, how they lived. Ferdinand Maximilian Joseph was Prince Franz Karl's second son. Franz Karl was Francis I, Emperor of Austria's son. So what the Austrian have to do with Mexico? As a male heir of the House of Habsburg, Maximilian was educated until the family's motto, Austria es imperari orbito universe. Austria will reign all over the universe. In his youth, Maximilian was an officer in Austrian Navy. Years later, he was appointed Viceroy of Lombardy, Venezia. And then he got to Mexico City. In the port of Trieste, Maximilian built a castle of his dream, which he called Miramare. When he first saw Chapultepec, he decided to call his new palace Miravale. It had perfect terrace to spend the time reading, writing his decree and other disposition, as well as official personal correspondence. So this space in former times was an astronomical observatory in 1877, presidential residence of Manuel Gonzalez, a billiard room in 1882, presidential residence of Porfirio Diaz in 1906, presidential residence of Abelardo Rodriguez, and billiard room in 1932. And now it's a museum. For all to see, which I think is the best use of this space. So this is the view of the Mexico City on from Chapultepec Castle. So this is where they eat. You can see from there are two to three doors to each room. So you can, there are a lot of people that are going at the door and taking pictures of this room where in 1860, so they are preserved the way they were in 1860, and we see a lot of art. This black and white floor, it's the symbol of Masonry, I think. So 1860, probably they have electricity. This seems to be electrical, some sort of electrical lighting. This is the tallest part of the city, and the rest of the buildings are built on the former lake that has no water anymore, and now it's basically it has buildings, and it's sinking. So it's going down. The city has no stable foundation. This is an elevator, 1800 elevator. Progress of machinery, 1896. The second elevator, hydraulically powered, has connected the base of the hill to the first floor of the Alcazar garden since 1896. This is a clock. Probably from Russia. Masonic symbol. A lot of art all over the place. I was always impressed with the lighting of these buildings. So some pictures are better than others. Charlotte in Chapultepec. Empress Charlotte had several ladies in waiting, chosen from the most notorious families in Mexico. During her stay in Chapultepec, she founded charity homes for the needy, organized ballroom dances. Give me a break. They never give something that they didn't get for free in the first time, in the first place. So So this was the bathroom of Maximilian. Quite nice. So 1860, he had a nice bathroom. Paintings of the cathedral. So this is the top of the Chapultepec Castle that was at one point an observatory, and there are gardens with nice plants. This is still part of the Chapultepec Castle. Now, in this castle, more watches. This is the name of the castle is taken after this insect. This is a Chapultepec in Mexican language. Now, there is a theory that in the past, there used to be ant people. Now, we don't know if it's any connection with the ant people that some say were living in the underground of the earth in tunnels. It can be just a coincidence of name. The ant people are in the folklore of some Native American nations. So this is the second floor of the Chapultepec Castle. A little bit too fast, but that's how you take pictures, take video when you are traveling. Some are good, some are a little bit too fast. This, I wish I can go slower. So on top of the Chapultepec Castle, there is a garden, very well maintained. Again, on the floor, the masonry symbol, the black and white tiles, more rooms, nicely decorated. Now, this is a part that is representative for Chapultepec Castle. Very nice place. I don't think I have the sound, but that's okay. What happened, we arrived and we saw only the first part of the museum, but I saw this picture online, and I knew that it has to be something more. So there are two doors, basically two entrances to the museum, and on the second one you can see this part with historical uh, more elaborate, actually, part of the museum. Chapultepec Alcazar. So this was actually a holy place, an island in the middle of a lake. The lake was, so the water from the lake was removed, and now the city of the Mexico City, it's built on the bottom of that lake. Mexico City has a property that there is no river that is passing through or nearby the Mexico City because it was built on a lake. And they capture the water from the rain, and to have a rain, they need to maintain the forest. Chapultepec has a little bit of forest, not much, but the forests are very important to keep the water coming. So they accumulate the water in the reservoirs and then distribute to the people. Exquisite, no? So these rooms are so nice. I love going into these places and see the beauty that the human can produce, and we can use more beauty in our life. And did they have electrical lighting? That's a question. I don't know how to answer that. Probably yes. The big reception. So the Alcazar of Chapultepec, tall king tower, night tower, was built on the highest part of the natural promontory that rises around 45 meters above Mexico City level. At this site, there was a pre-Hispanic temple that was replaced in the 16th century by a chapel dedicated to Saint Michael the Archangel, which was demolished in the 18th century. The watchtower was built as part of the military academy around 1842, and in 1877 was adapted as an astronomical observatory topped with a metal and glass dome that existed until the beginning of the 20th century. Although the observatory was moved in 1833 to its new location in Tacubaya. Okay, so So these are the garden that are situated in top of the castle. So third floor. But to get to this place, you have to go around the mountain, to get to the entrance into the castle. And in top of the castle is this garden. And the temperature there is very nice. It's very, and the view, you can see. We were still brainwashed by the mass media at that time. So this, I love to take a picture of the lightings, the places. So they had a fountain. This is the Chapultepec. This is the insect that takes the name, that gives the name to the castle. Chapultepec. So the day was very beautiful. Warm weather, but not too warm, not too cold. So, and we went in November. They have tropical weather. But well worth it to go and see this castle. Each terrace had gardens, well-maintained gardens. So 1893 was this sculpture made. So these are the terrace of the castle. Clocks, towers, the pattern of the time. So the buildings are quite old. Who knows for real how old they are? Oh, too fast. Way too fast. So this is on our way down. We figured it out. There is a tunnel under the mountain that allow people to go using the elevator to the castle. You can, at the bottom of the castle, there is a botanical garden, which we have visited. But our focus for today was the Chapultepec Castle. Even the botanical garden, look at the details of the ceiling. the plants thrive there. Okay, so let's leave it here. The Chapultepec Castle. The Chapultepec Castle, Mexico City. Okay, this was the presentation for today. Thank you for watching.